Welcome back to the channel. All right, we're going to go over the best champions for new and yes, progressing players, right? And you're going to be able to best self-identify with that. And before we get fully into it, if you're enjoying this content, if it is helpful to you, please make sure you hit subscribe, like, comment, share it out. That's one of the best ways I know, hey, viewers are enjoying this and they're finding it helpful. And of course, that's what I'm interested in putting out there for you all, okay? We're going to start off in not the mutant class, but in the cosmic class as we look at this. And just so you're aware, of course, there's going to be incredibly powerful champions. I literally put out a tier list every single month with the MCoC Illuminati, where we have been telling you for 5 years who the best champions are. We've graded them across a variety of metrics. But when you're a new player or progressing player, that's not always exactly the information you're looking at. And so we want to take the opportunity to kind of fine tune this and really format it that. There's going to be a couple of different things added on, because I'm sure you're like, well, okay. One is like the breadth of which they cover. I'll explain that as we go through it, and you'll hear me talk about that with some certain champions. And then also, how easy are they to play? Or better said, how complex are they to play? Like, how much am I have had to play this game in order to understand the various like ability kits, how it fits together, and then of course the actual moving them around the screen and putting that into place. So here we go. We're going to start off here in the cosmic class, and the first champ I'm always going to mention is like this is the epitome of like, this is about as easy it gets in this game to play, with about as dominant and is going to help you handle a significant amount of the game. I mean, it's like, well, I don't want to say it's on autopilot because you still have to play the game, but I mean, Serpent is 5-hit combo over and over, and you throw your special. If they've got a lot of armor ups, you throw your special 2. If they don't, you throw your special 1. It is literally as simple as that. And in a game where you're normally penalized for throwing your special into the block, Serpent will break their block for you. In fact, it's actually what you ideally want to do. You will do better if you do that. But if you don't, it's okay. In not too long a period of time, he's actually going to start doing more and more and more damage. And then if you mess up, it's all right. He's going to go death immune for you, okay? Immortality. Now, of course, this can be removed. The game is complex and that sort of thing. But by and large, and he's also got immunities, he's also going to handle miss, and I believe it is evade for you, right? With his true focus buff. These are some of the biggest threats the game comes with us. And if it couldn't get easier, if you're like, dude, it would be impossible to make this easier for us, he actually has a power gain buff. So that way, if you're struggling to get the opponent in the corner or like to beat them up, it's all right. Just be a little bit more patient. The power gain will eventually get you over bar of power or get you to your bar of power, and you can throw your special 1. If you've got a 5-star or above, and I say 5-star or above because I just did the new champion or the new player guide, where it's really the 5 stars are going to start seeing you for a very, very long time, okay? Where if like you pull the next Friday, cool. You've got a champion that's that good, you're happy about it. If you got the 5-star or above, I would start ranking up Serpent between his immunities, his absurd busted use on offense, the ease at which he does all of these things, the ease of which it is to play him in this game. I know some of you are probably going to be shocked that I didn't actually say Hercules as, the #1 epitome of it all. And if you want to run recoil, and if you're like, what's recoil? It's the damage masteries that put on bleed and poison. You can do more damage, but you're taking bleed and poison. I could maybe see why you would want to consider going with Hercules, especially if yours is awakened, because he's also going to go immortal. You're catching on to some themes here on why these champions are on these lists. If you've pulled a 5-star or above Hercules, again, very similar to Serpent, rank him up. The thing is he's actually more difficult to play, like quite a bit. There are skill asks in his kit where Serpent really not the skill ask of Serpent is just don't get hit, but that's a skill ask of like the whole huge game. With Hercules, in order to get the absolute best out of him, you do want to be landing some intercepts. Now his intercept window is larger, but it's a great training ground for learning to intercept with your specials. As you get onto other champions, you have a much smaller window. So it's something that I would definitely not have you hold off from ranking this champion because he is so incredibly powerful. Like Serpent, he handles some of the biggest threats in the game. He's got these resistances to bleed and poison as well. And then he has tremendous synergy partners. So if you can get an early 5-star Hercules, 6-star, of course, is even better. He's locked out of a 7-star. rank him up and you're going to have no regrets. All right, now, of course, there's other cosmics that are phenomenal to make, like CGR, Gallon is phenomenal. These, again, but this isn't just like the most powerful. These ones we're really trying to boil this down for you. You pull them, you're like, dude, I'm going to rank them up. The last one I'm going to mention is Hulkling. And I do think he's in some cases as powerful as Serpent and Hercules, but nowhere nearly as broad and nowhere near as simple to play. There's significant more skill asked in really getting the ceiling out of him. Now, if you pull him, though, I think he is well worth learning and using and ranking up. Again, as a 5-star, as a 6-star, he's not available as a 7-star. You do not need to have him awakened. I do really like it. I think it's helpful, but you definitely do not need it. He also has, as we look at this, he's going to have this immunity to poisons and shocks. So again, like I said, you can see some commonalities of these. And this is the sort of thing, if champions are coming with various immunities, that means they're going to help you handle a variety of nodes that Kabam's going to ask you to take as you're progressing that you just flat out otherwise couldn't. And so if one champion can handle a variety of them, they're even more worthy of your rank up resources. So there's a good reason why you're seeing this in so many of these. He even when he prevents immunity against a shapeshift charge. We're not going to go into too much how to play him, but here it is. Additionally, the sword protects Hulkling's energy, granting immunity to power drain, steal, and burn. You do see these in nodes. It's not that common to see them in champion abilities. So when the ask is there, it is great to have a champion already ranked up, especially one who's as powerful as Hulkling is, who is also immune to poison and shock. Again, you're obviously getting the picture here. We'll move on to the next class. Moving on to the Mystic class, and I know this one's going to be a surprise to people, but again, we've really thought this through, and again, this is for new and progressing players. If you've got a Purgatory, and I have my own experiences on my free-to-play account that's going through the game, Purgatory has been a hard carry as I move into Act 7, and the reason is because she can cover so many things for you. Again, very, very similar to the analysis for a lot of these champions. Remember, she actually is immune to Incinerate, right? And then her attack still energy damage can be helpful for some damage back mechanics, some. Not a ton. I'm not going to pretend like it's a ton of them. Again, with a synergy, and all you need is a synergy partner on your team. We're talking about questing here. Mephisto, Hood, Magic, Dormammu, she's going to gain bleed immunity as well. And then as you're moving through, she's got this power gain mechanic, so you're getting to your specials more quickly. And then she has her whole soul mechanic. Where is it? Right here. So not only is she going to be helpful to you when she's fighting these class of champions, so you can just go and start fighting a cosmic champion and you're going to get to this ability. But if you finish your fight and capture the soul, you then take it through the rest of the fight. Remember, progressing player, there's a lot of story content, act content. You're moving through and you're going to get to these bosses. So a champion that is getting stronger and grabbing these abilities so many times, particularly the Mutant Soul. I mean, they all came in real handy, but the Mutant Soul, the tech with the armor break, Cosmic with the Nullify, and the Skill Soul, they all became so valuable. I can think of very specific instances where having a ranked up Purgatory who I had ramped up over the course of the quest was very helpful in a boss fight. And yeah, I mean it, even more so than the champions I'm about to mention. Now, when we talk about like the most blunt force powerful, yeah, it's probably Doom. And if you pull a 5-star Doom, rank him up, but learn to use him first. He's a step up in the difficulty of use than Purgatory. Purgatory is honestly like your 5-hit comboing, your parrying. Once you get into your Rampage, if you end in a medium, you're going to put on the Incinerate. It's going to drain your power a little bit. And that's about it, right? You want to try to throw your specials when you're in your Rampage, but you're A-okay if you don't. Doom has more of like the Doom cycle. You are learning different combo techniques like light, light, medium, medium, medium. These sorts of things. You're going to your SP3, into your SP1. Now, that being said, Doom is probably the most blunt force powerful mystic in the game. And so he's very much on this list. The only reason he's not the first one mentioned is he is, in my opinion, as you're progressing through this game in your skill sets of understanding the game, a bit more difficult to use. But as you go through his stats, you kind of see this whole thing. He has immunities as well, including to armor break, which if I recall correctly, actually did come up on a boss fight. I think it was in Act 6. So there's that too, immune to shock effects as well. There's really just nothing else like Doom and playing Doom. So if you get a 5-star or 6-star Doom, rank him up, you're going to have a lot of fun with him, and he's very deserving on this list. But the difference between him and Purgatory, Doom, in my opinion, is a little bit more blunt force strong, can just totally take a hold of a fight and dominate it to his will. But you got to know how to play the game a little bit better than you do in Purgatory, and Purgatory is pretty darn close in power level as well. Okay, for these next two champions, but they are so helpful in progressing through the game. They are, I think, another pretty large step up in difficulty on like how to play the game, the knowledge you need to know, and putting their kit together. Now, Chavez, once you get her, is actually relatively simple to play, but it's very unique. And she has this passive stun mechanic. You're going to heavy after your combo or into your combo. You want to start lining up her dimensions. So there's things that I think a lot of us full in-game players probably take for granted that we don't think about. Hey, if you're really just coming up on this game, there's so many steps you're thinking through in a fight. That being said, no one handles ability power, and for a progressing player, that's when the champion via the node or their own abilities just starts gaining power on their own. You don't have to hit them, which is normally how power is gained in this game. She's going to just handle that for you. No one is better at it. She's also incredibly unique in the Mystic class in that she powers up from buffs as opposed to removing them or having them never show up. So if you could get a 5 or 6 star America Chavez, or of course a 7 star as well, she's going to be incredibly handy for you. And there's going to be problems that the game throws at you that no one else can handle nearly as well as her. And she's also just one in general, like on our general tier list, one of the most powerful Mystics in the game as well. Again, it's just that her playstyle is a little bit, it's a step up in difficulty in my opinion. And then the last one we'll mention is Absorbing Man. In my opinion, has the most moving steps of all of these champions in the Mystic class by a significant margin for you to line up in order to do what he does. The cool thing is he has all of these immunities and resistances. They are in these omni-morph forms and the refined forms here, and then the morph charges. And as you kind of look through this kit, you can see what I'm saying, right? There's a lot of different moving parts for you to work through. Again, if you're an in-game player and you have experience with him, I don't think they feel too bad. They definitely don't feel cumbersome. He's an amazing champion, and that's why he's on this list. He's also on this list because of all these immunities and resistances. If you can get him and learn how to play him, you know, we talked about like, hey, a Hulkling is immune to shock and poison and all that too. It's gonna help you. Well, Absorbing Man's got like kind of all of them. He has these physical resistances and energy resistances on top of his actual immunities. And then he also has a synergy here with Immortal Abomination and Immortal Hulk, which will flat out make him immune to poison. And then the beauty is when he's immune to something, it powers up all the things you're trying to line up to do damage. So if I could get a 6-star Absorbing Man, my account's at the point where it's really 6 stars I'm looking at now. But if I had gotten a 5-star early, I would have ranked him up immediately. Moving on to Science, we're going to start a champion that's actually locked out of the 7-star tier variety, right? You can't get them. They're locked as a 6-star. If you get a 5 or 6-star Scorpion, I've been fortunate enough to pull a 6-star Scorpion. The immunities alone, and then the ability to pick which immunities and the ability to pick which damaging debuff or sting you're going to do has been amazing. There was actually a fight against a Act 6 Captain America Infinity War boss where also, and this isn't talked about that much, but the taunt that comes off of Scorpion's SP1 was incredibly, incredibly valuable. One of the most powerful champions in the game. And again, we're hammering this home. Not only the immunities on the champion, but the shifting immunities, much like Absorbing Man, will just pick what you're going to be immune to or resistance to in the fight, and then what kind of damage you're going to do as well is incredibly, incredibly powerful. If you get a Scorpion, rank him. Moving on to the champions that are going to be very valuable, just to get a bit more difficult to play, it would be Photon. In order to get the most out of her damage, she's more difficult to play, right? You're lining up her charges, your SP2, you got to cause the miss, I believe, you're punishing specials, that sort of thing. The thing is with her, though, is again, resistances and immunities as we look at them. She also has some protections against like mistakes. If you go to punish something and you get parried, she's going to go untouchable for you, meaning she has her own miss. So she has some really nice safeguards in there. She has the ability to block non-parryable attacks on contact attacks. Really rare in this game, one of the big threats that a lot of defenders throw at us. And then, of course, her medium attacks just flat out can't miss. And then when she goes into her damage form, none of her attacks can miss. And once you ramp her up and you've played her pretty well, her damage gets very, very darn respectable, if not quite good. She even has a Sunder debuff, cutting off the critical resistance of the defender. So she is a phenomenal champion. Just, again, a bit harder to play, a little bit more difficult. But once you get going, you can handle her pretty well. Shoot, they're not on here, and unfortunately the other site, Country's Ankh, is down at the moment. It would be Count Nefaria, so just bear with me on this one. very similar to Photon. All the things I was saying about like the resistances and the energy resistance in this case, he can go to non-contact attacks, helping you through some of those damage back mechanics. You can just throw his special one over and over. Your damage will be nowhere near as high as some of the higher skill asks of his kit, but you're eventually going to get the fight down. He's handling ability power rate, very similar to what I was talking about America Chavez, but this is in the science class, and then he's just going to stay healed up. There's a reason why so many players love him, and it's his ability to finish at very full health bars while handling a fight. Can be a little bit slower, played that way, but will still get it done. I've used my own multiple times in that very similar scenario where I'm like, look, I don't need this fight to go in 30 seconds. It taking 2 minutes is fine. I'm going to come out with a full yellow health bar and get the fight done. And then the last science champion we're going to shout out, and this is a unique one. It's kind of like a pivot back the other way. Is he's one of the more simple champions to play in that he can just stun lock a defender in the corner. The reason why he wasn't like the name one though is because he's not nearly as broad in what he can cover for you. Like if the stun's locked out, the Hulk's really not going to be that great for you. He also isn't going to handle like the ability power rate and these sorts of things. But if he can stun lock a champion in the corner, he's going to be your best option, and he's very simple to play. You're heavy, you're SB1, they do the stuns, right? I've done plenty of videos on him. If you pull the Hulk and you enjoy just bashing and smashing, there's no one better in the game. His simplicity and his power, where he's powerful, is why he's on this list. All right, moving to the skill class, the one I had pointed out as like the one was Kingpin, and this is the point to shout out MCoC Encyclopedia. I will link his channel in the description. Chances are, if you're watching this video, you're already familiar with his videos, helping you get through all the content. What a phenomenal channel and resource MCoC Encyclopedia is. If you're working through the content, go subscribe to his channel. It's going to help you out so much. But he's like, dude, a great list. Bold Kingpin. And I can totally see why. I actually don't have Kingpin on my free-to-play account. I haven't been lucky enough to pull him. When I do, I will rank him up. He can shut down ability accuracy. He just purifies the damaging debuffs on his own. So it's not an immunity, it's not a resistance, it's just a way to get rid of them. And it just happens. And if he gets too many in a row, they eventually just all go away, and he gets stronger up from them. The damage is immense. He can even go unstoppable, which is you get to a more high-skilled play-in of the game. You can utilize to get intercepts or create openings on your own. Truly just an absolute force. I see why MCoC Encyclopedia said I should bold him, and I really appreciate that shout-out. The next one is a much more difficult champion to play. Now, in-game players like myself will tell you, she's not hard to play at all. In fact, she's almost laughably easy to get the great results out of, but you can see how there was a skill ask, and to maintain it, there are skill asks. And so that's why I don't have her at number one. Kingpin is like, you could just kind of 5-hit combo and do really great. With Kate, you do need to do her slowdown mechanic, but her damage off her SB1 is so insane, and it will just shut off evade for you, and it can't be shrugged because it is a passive. It is worth getting it down. I know some new players, I know even I had a little bit of difficulty when I first started playing her, getting her perfect release every single time, but once you get it, you are good to go. It is not hard. Once you've got it, my advice would be to slow down. Don't try to do it quickly. It's okay if it takes another 0.5 seconds, and then you just shut things down. And then as you continue to progress through this game, and if you're having fun, you will, you're going to get to something called Necropolis, which is like this Everest content. No champion is better in Necropolis for those great rewards than Kate Bishop. She's just a little bit more difficult to play. Shield was actually who I initially thought of to put at the start of the skill class, and then I remembered Kingpin. I don't have him on my free-to-play account. Chi is a massive, massive bleed. I have a rank 4 7-star Shield, which is as high as you can get as I record this on my whale account, okay? I have a 5-star maxed out on my free-to-play because she's that good. She's that fun. She can keep the debuffs off you off of her SP2 and her cleanse mechanic. Her SP2 will also help you handle miss. Her SP1 helps you handle unstoppable. If you get her awakened and a relatively high sig, when the opponent's bleeding moon, her damage isn't bad, okay? She obviously wants to be bleeding. And one of the really great things about her is you can literally play her like I talked about with Kingpin. You can parry and 5-hit combo over and over and over, and you're going to get great results. But as you lean into her kit more and you get better at the game and you start punishing heavies and specials and things like that, you're going to get immense, immense, immense damage. I've shown that multiple times on my channel. BMcG, the MCoC Illuminati, has just shown that as well too. As so many have, she is a phenomenal champion and she deserves to be on this list. And then to kind of show you the difference between this list and just a general tier list, which we do again every single month, is Fury does deserve to be on here. But for like a newer progressing player, I would honestly recommend the other ones first. Now, if you get your Nick Fury Awakened, that's what's that whole second life, and his damage ramps up significantly. And if you're spec'd into Deep Wounds. Now, I've done the new champion guide. We've talked about masteries, and Deep Wounds is so far into the offensive tree that I didn't even talk about it yet. If you're at that point in the game and you've got a 6-star Awakened Nick Fury, you're spec'd into Deep Wounds, yeah, go for it. You've seen what I've done with my 7-star rank 4. I'm having a blast. He's that powerful. He can shut off. It is miss and evade for you. You got to play him, though, at 30% health, right? And if you're a new progressing player, that might not be your ideal situation, but if you're enjoying that and you feel like you want to start to get into that sort of skill level, you just end your combos in light, you throw your special ones, and you absolutely destroy things. Next, we'll move on to Mutant, and again, shouting out MCoC Encyclopedia, and I'll tell you, like, again, this is one of the amazing reasons the Illuminati, like, it's so insanely helpful, is I forgot to actually have Colossus on my list. I've never really ranked him on my whale account, and I don't have him on my free-to-play, but MCoC Encyclopedia shouted him out. It's like, look, dude, with all the immunities this guy's got, and he can hit like an absolute truck, he needs to be on this list. So shout out to MCoC Encyclopedia. Thank you for sharing that knowledge, and he's right. Colossus should be on the list. So thank you for that. Now we can share that knowledge. The champion I do have on there, and I think it's just a matter of like what you want, because they're so insanely different. For me, it's an Archangel. Now you do want him awakened, right? You can see that here. But if you, even at just Sig 1, honestly, even at just Sig 1, you parry and you heavy. And if the opponent can be bled and poisoned, you are literally going to do some of the biggest damage per second in the game, on top of turning off almost all threats of the node and the defender. Not kidding. He's that good. I've done tons of videos. People have done tons and tons of videos. You want to parry, you want to stun, essentially so you can land your heavy. If you've gotten progressively good enough at the game where you've learned to land your heavy into the opponent's heavy, even better for you, because that means you're going to open up even more spots you can use Archangel. And then he's just going to turn the rest off for you, rank him up, and profit. Sinister is on this list for a variety of reasons. Obviously, the power level. Obviously, the healing back, right? Bleed's not really a big deal for him. I know we've really only talked about immunity so far with Colossus, which has been interesting. But he can help you out. He's going to heal back. He's not available as a 7-star, so you would have that confidence of ranking your 6-star, being like, dude, I don't have to worry about pulling my 7-star. He's only been available in sales, and the damage is immense. Very similar to Archangel, but in this case, you actually do need to parry stun. I think that's part of why Kabam was so comfortable releasing so powerful of a champion in certain scenarios, is you need to parry stun. You then hold your heavy, and that's it. You're going to throw your SB1 to transfer the bleeds onto the opponent as degens, and again, you profit. Is Dust. I love her on my whale account. I have it rank 3, and then I was fortunate enough to pull on my free to play, and she has been an absolute savior. Now, she's going to be a bit more difficult to play. I'm not going to lie to you on that one. That's one of the reasons why she's a little farther down on this list, because she doesn't have like the passive stun that sometimes you're needing to handle for skill threats. But what she does have is her debuffs turned into passive. So the threats that skills often present, she is basically making them pay for it in damage. And then also she's immune to bleed, poison, and shock. And when she's in her sandstorm, she handles all unstoppables for you, and her damage is immense. She's not the toughest champion to play. You basically want to build up your sand or your dust. I can't remember what it's called, but it's the same resource. You can eventually either get to your special 3 and throw it, go into your sandstorm, or you can heavy and get into that. You throw your special 2, which will turn into a passive stun, and you go and you throw SB1s until they die. She's a really phenomenal champion. It has all of those bleeds and poisons, and again, all of these champions are very highly ranked on our general tier list as well. I just think she's phenomenal for a progressing account. And then this list would not be complete if we didn't mention what is quite literally one of the most busted champions that's ever been put into the game. She's amazing. I loved playing her. Now, part of what makes her so busted, though, is her synergy. So we're going to kind of talk about those for a second. You're going to want them if you're going to use Kitty. You can use Kitty without Ghost and without Tigra. You can, and you can do great things. People have. I know players who have. But if you're a progressing player or a new player, you want these synergies. They're going to make her borderline laughably easy to use. As you can see here with Kitty Pryde, with Tigra, when while 10 plus prowess are active, you basically become unblockable. You literally just dash back and forth, and you can't be stopped. It's really, really cool because Kitty actually has a mechanic where if she's like hit while she's phased, I think she just gains the power and takes no damage. So you just get pushed to your special 3. It's honestly laughable. She's amazing though. If you've got her, and especially if you get her as a 6-star, like she's a champion where if you're coming up in the game and you pull as a 5, I wouldn't instant rank her. Okay, I'd maybe wait, make sure your skills have progressed, you enjoy playing her because she is a relatively unique play style. You've got the ability to take along these synergies, and if all that happens and then you want to rank the 5, go for it. But if you pull the 6, just rank her up, have fun. She's an absolute blast. There's a lot of nuance in this class. There's a ton of nuance in this class. I really like them. They're great. But I almost in some ways feel like they're like kind of like the in-game players. You really need to know what you're doing and the kits and how to accentuate them. That being said, don't worry. We were able to come up with some that really made a lot of sense for this list. And the first one is, to the shock of no one, Nimrod. There's a reason why he's still not available as a 7-star. He just shuts down so much. Like, I used him literally on stream yesterday in Battlegrounds. I don't even remember what the defender was, but they were not a mutant, but he hunts mutants, especially if you can get him awakened. And yes, this was a 5-star Nimrod who was doing it to a 6-star defender. Like I said, I don't even remember who it was. He has the dual immunities in bleed and poison. His damage is a passive, so it cannot be shrugged. His ability accuracy cannot be reduced. Against mutants, gain immunity to ability accuracy modification. That's basically like to help you out with Dominoes and Magnetos, who are some of the bigger threats that you will be facing, and some in-game content. He's just really a beast of a champion. Can handle healing for you, can handle prowess for you, some of the larger threats in the game as well. So if you get a Nimrod, there's a reason why you saw me so elated to pull 6-star Nimrod on my free-to-play account, even though I have a 5-star Nimrod maxed out. That's the kind of thing we're shooting for here on this list. None other than Ironheart. Again, one of the best champions in the game. Phenomenal champion. Has that shifting debuff ability, which is great. And like when you're looking to use your rank up resources, a champion can do different sorts of damaging debuffs. Really helpful. But the fact that she's like powerful too is why it's something that you're looking for and considering. She can handle miss for you as well. Spec into Despair. We've talked about that in my new and progressing player guide. Going to help you out with healing as well. Absolutely phenomenal champion. Really love using her. Love using her even again on my whale account. And then this is the last one. It's similar to what I was talking about with Kitty. She's not quite as like laughably broken. Doesn't do just like these ridiculous things that Kitty does, but the things she does do are ridiculous. Like she was Kitty before Kitty was Kitty, if that makes sense. Especially if you can get her awakened. She literally just gains power from standing there. Now you have to be a bit more skilled. All right. And that's why she's not at the top of this list for tech. It's because you do have to get significantly more advanced with your gameplay and your skills and your game knowledge. But you get her awakened, you basically go backwards. She goes into her untouchable, or what a phasing, I think is what she calls it. And when they head into you, you gain power. And then your special 2 does ridiculous damage. If you enjoy running the recoil mastery, you can match her up here with Hood. That would be really helpful. And then it is with Wasp that makes her her specials unblockable. And I think it's when she's coming out of her phase, she gets the precision. When she has her precisions, the opponent like can't evade. So she's even handling some of those threats for you as well. Plus the ability to just get rid of debuffs. You just like go back a phase and they turn into Furies, meaning you do even more damage. So you can see why she's still not available as a 7-star, although hopefully she comes very, very soon. That was the full list. As I said, please make sure you hit like and subscribe, and then also comment like what could be even more helpful in this. I know, and I can tell from the comment section on all my videos and streams, there's more and more new players coming to this game. It's very obvious. And as you're coming through, this game is great and it's awesome, but it is quite complex. And so we've tried to format this video completely for, let's break that down and let's just help you get like those best of those best, a little bit more ease of play or like less complex. And then as you're growing through this game, you're going to have a great time. As usual, let me know what you think we got right. Let me know what you think we got wrong. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.